When Spanish forces arrived in the Andes in the 1630s, they stood before these walls in open disbelief. They had conquered cities across Europe. They had reduced fortified strongholds to rubble with cannon fire. Yet here, above Cusco, they encountered something that did not fit any knowledge they possessed of construction, engineering, or human capability. The walls stretched across the hilltop in 3 immense zigzag terraces. Each tier rose higher than the one below it. Each stone was unique, carved to interlock with its neighbors like a 3-dimensional puzzle. No 2 blocks were the same. Some carried 12 or more distinct angles. Others curved subtly to absorb stress and movement. Spanish chroniclers recorded their shock. Garcilaso de la Vega, born in Cusco in 1539 to a Spanish conquistador and an Inca noblewoman, described stones so enormous that men could not imagine how they were moved. Pedro Cieza de Leon wrote that no human strength could explain the work. Other priests and officials echoed the same confusion. Within their worldview, there was only one explanation. This architecture was not human. Catholic doctrine provided an answer that preserved European superiority and religious authority. These structures must have been built by demonic forces, works of the devil himself, remnants of a corrupted world that existed before Christian salvation. Spanish authorities quickly realized that the upper tiers of Sacsayhuaman were built from smaller and more regular blocks. These stones could be quarried and reused. Colonial builders stripped 3 to 4 meters from the top of each wall tier. Day by day, block by block, the wall was dismantled. These stones were dragged downhill into Cusco. They became the foundations of colonial churches, government buildings, courthouses, and private homes. The very fabric of the Spanish city was built atop the dismantled bones of Sacsayhuaman. Many of these colonial structures still stand today, resting on stones taken from the hill above. But when the upper layers were exhausted, the Spanish faced a problem. The lower tiers were megalithic. These stones were not simply large, they were vast, fitted so tightly that there were no seams to exploit, no leverage points, no visible weaknesses. Attempts to quarry them failed. So, the Spanish turned to their most powerful weapon, artillery. Cannons that had shattered walls across Europe were hauled up the hillside. They were aimed directly at the megalithic foundations. Shot after shot was fired into the stone. The walls did not break. The interlocked geometry absorbed the impacts. Energy dispersed across the mass of the structure. Stones did not crack. They did not shift. The walls endured bombardment that would have reduced ordinary masonry to rubble. Unable to destroy the foundations, Spanish authorities adopted a final strategy. They would bury them. Labor crews were organized to haul soil from the surrounding hillsides. Over years, then decades, earth was piled against the lower walls. Layer by layer, the megalithic foundations disappeared beneath meters of sediment. What cannon fire could not destroy, soil would conceal. For nearly 400 years, the lower tiers of Sacsayhuaman vanished from sight. The hilltop became uneven terrain. Grass covered stone. Memory faded. The most sophisticated masonry in South America was hidden beneath the ground. Serious archaeological work did not begin until the 1930s. Peruvian archaeologists and workers began removing the accumulated soil. As the earth was cleared away, stone emerged in astonishing condition. Joints were still razor precise. Surfaces remained smooth. The blocks had not shifted at all. The burial had preserved them. 4 centuries underground had protected the walls from weathering that would have eroded exposed stone. Ironically, the attempts to erase Sacsayhuaman had safeguarded its deepest secrets. As excavation continued through the 1940s, researchers noticed something else. The walls extended below what appeared to be the ground level. In several areas, foundations descended 1 or 2 meters deeper than expected. What modern visitors see today is not the base of the structure. It is merely the current surface. Ground level has changed repeatedly through centuries of burial, erosion, and reconstruction. How much of Sacsayhuaman remains underground is still unknown. Then came a more troubling discovery. Archaeologists identified distinct construction phases. The lower megalithic walls were built using techniques entirely different from the upper Inca additions. The stone types differed, the cutting methods differed, the fit and finish differed. When Inca repair sections were examined closely, something remarkable appeared. The perfectly cut megalithic stones were always in the lower sections of the structure. Stones that would have required enormous effort to shape and move were treated as mere foundations. This raises a question that has never been adequately answered. If the Inca built the megaliths, why would they repair them with inferior work? The more logical explanation is inheritance. The Inca arrived at Sacsayhuaman and found an existing structure. They maintained it. They modified it. They repaired damaged sections using their own crude masonry style, but they did not create the foundations. Inca oral tradition does not claim that they built Sacsayhuaman. They attributed it to earlier beings, giants, ancestors, civilizers who came before remembered time. Even the name Sacsayhuaman may predate the Inca language itself. The Inca treated the site as sacred. They adapted it. They incorporated it into their capital, but they did not take credit for its creation. Now consider the engineering itself. Some stones weigh over 200 tons. They were quarried kilometers away, transported uphill, shaped with extreme precision, fitted without mortar on a seismic fault line in one of the most earthquake-prone regions on Earth. The walls flex during earthquakes, stones shift microscopically and then settle back into place. Colonial buildings in Cusco collapsed repeatedly during seismic events. Sacsayhuaman endured. No iron tools were available to the Incas, no wheels suitable for mountain terrain, no draft animals capable of hauling such mass. Modern engineers still debate how this was achieved. Ramp theories struggle with space constraints and structural load. Lever systems fail under the weight involved. Rope techniques available at the time lack the tensile strength required. Experimental archaeology has not reproduced this level of precision at this scale, and this is only one site. Sacsayhuaman is part of a global pattern. Polygonal megalithic masonry appears in Peru, Egypt, Japan, Greece, and elsewhere. Different cultures, different continents, same principles, same emphasis on mass, precision, and earthquake resistance. These structures are always the oldest layers. Later centuries built smaller, cruder, less precise. Today, Sacsayhuaman stands partially restored, yet the most important questions remain unanswered. Who possessed the knowledge to shape and fit stone of this magnitude with such precision? What happened to the civilization that built it? And why does human history begin after their disappearance? And what else still lies beneath the soil, waiting for history to remember what it once knew?